Today is kind of an overcast day. It's nice out though. I think it's supposed to be 82 degrees today, and it's November 26th. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Still got some figs to pick before the season's over. This is it's a reverted panache. They still taste just as good. Oh my goodness, it's really good. And look at the eye on those. Every single one I've had off of this reverted panache has been amazingly good. Happy to see that. I have a few, if I can keep the raccoons from getting them. They found them. I have a few Bordeaux Negra Ramadas that I'm still hoping to ripen. Yeah, see? Alright. Yeah, I had 4 of them on here. You can see a nice fresh one that got picked off right there. I had 4 on here. So something got to them last night. So wow, that's the last of that. Had the last of this Grease Day St. Jean last week. And they were actually pretty good. I mean, this late in the year, even though it's still somewhat warm out, you know, the nights are getting down into the 50s. And I think there's just probably not enough heat left to really produce that amazing flavor. This is Black Tuscan. It still has a couple of figs on there. And, you know, I think I might notice some of them starting to swell. I've had a number of really good Black Tuscans this year. Not a single one split. Not a single one. And this is, you know, the Black Madeira-like fig that I think it's probably related. Black Tuscan. This is a Violet de Bordeaux that, even though it's got a number of figs on it, this was a tissue culture last year. And it was tiny at the end of the year, but it just took off this year. And I think because it's such a young tree from a tissue culture, it put on figs like really late in the season this year. I doubt these are going to make it. We'll see, but next year this thing is going to be prolific. Let's see, there's some other figs that I think, like I noticed yesterday. I've got a couple of Coldidoms getting ready to pop, and I've already had a number of these. I've got 7 different Coldidom varieties, but I've only got a couple that still have figs on them. This big fig right here. This is a Coldidom gigantina. And the gigantina is very much, people compare it to the Coldidom blanc. It's supposedly, in fact, people say it's almost exactly the same, except for gigantina is just bigger than blanc on average. I wouldn't say a lot bigger, but it is bigger. So that's a nice looking fig. It should be ready maybe not on Thanksgiving Day. I'd say from where it's at right now, it probably needs 2 or 3 more days, especially without these temperatures getting so high. And so today's really nice, but we've got a cold front coming in just in time for Thanksgiving, where temperatures are going to drop down to the daytime highs like in the 60s. And I think we've got a night coming up. It's supposed to be like 39 degrees. I hate hearing that. It's going to happen though, sooner or later. Usually not until January, but okay, so here is Coldidom Blanc. And these 2 figs just really started blimping up. That is not splitting. It's got some weird thing going on with the eye there. But these 2 should be ready also in just a few days. So I've got a Coldidom gigantina, Coldidom Blanc. Let's see, yesterday I picked a really nice white Madeira off of here. I don't know if these will make it or not. I think I probably still have another month. This big white Adriatic thing's a monster. It's probably the most vigorous tree I've got out of 61 trees. It's insanely vigorous, and the Adriatic. So this is the true Adriatic. This is the one where all the Adriatics came from. This is the one that was commercially grown, probably still is in California for so many decades. The white Adriatic. So it is the one true Adriatic. Crazy vigorous. So it's funny how supposedly Adriatic JH, which I have back here in the corner, and green Ischia are also, quote, true Adriatics. I don't know if that means they somehow stemmed from the one true Adriatic. Because I was reading some sort of article. You can read all kinds of stuff on the internet, and who knows if it's true or not, but that, this epigenetics is like they must be related to this one if they're a true Adriatic. I don't know. They just live in a place long enough, you start changing. So maybe they are. I don't know. This one right here, this is a very nice, healthy looking Borgesat Grice. And it's got a few figs on here. I'm waiting for them to start turning color. I think they might. It's tough to say. This is a little violet sapor, which a lot of people say it might be the same as Borgesat Grice. It's got a nice size fig on there. It's waiting to ripen. It might have time. I've got my fingers and toes crossed. Let's see. I've got a few more. I thought they had some figs I'm waiting on. Oh yeah, this I-258. It's crazy because I thought twice about even buying a cutting of I-258 because if you heard of such splitting issues, you hear people go, "Well, I grew one. It got like 20 figs. Didn't get a chance to eat any of them. They all split." Like, what? I rolled the dice and bought one anyway, and I'm glad I did because this is a first year cutting, so it's like one tall whip right now with a few branches, but it's gonna get chopped back severely to like 32, 36 inches, something like that. But anyway, I got probably a dozen figs off of this, and not a single one of them split. Here's another little one, probably the last I'll get, but they've all had nice tight eyes, not a single splitter, and they've been fantastic. This is a Genovese Nero AF. A lot of people say it's the same as I-258. I do not know. I can't really. I mean, they're both early. It's hard to compare stuff when they're first year trees like that, but nonetheless, they're probably very similar, which is fine with me because they're very tasty. The Chicago Hardy, it produced a lot, but like it's already gone to bed. Chicago Hardy's always the last tree to wake up in the spring and the first tree to go to bed in the fall. Lazy. I think that's what makes it so quote hardy. It's not like out there sprouting or before it's too early and getting hit by the frost, or putting on a bunch of green wood right before in the fall before the winter comes. It's smart, put it that way. Maybe it's not lazy, it's smart. This Ponta Tressa, I did get a few figs off of it. To be honest, they weren't that great. It's a first year fig too, but I think it'll get a lot better. Usually I would chop these trees back to 32 or 36 inches. But if I go up about 8 inches, it has such a perfect branching structure going on here. We got a branch, an opposing branch, and then almost exactly offset, we've got two here. And And then I've got another one going exactly in between. It's, you know what I think I might do on this thing is instead of chopping it off, I may just take the top out of this thing. Like snip it out right here. And then I'll have this nice bowl shape going. These will be the scaffolds on it. And then I'm going to remove that big long lower branch. I think that'll make a pretty cool looking tree. Anyway, I believe that might be it. This one, I just wanted to point out something that, so it's getting that time of the year where these are, yeah, you know, another month they'll probably go to sleep. And so I've already got a plan on how to prune every one of these things. But this is a white Marseille. It's one of the only two non-berry figs I have. I have this white Marseille and I have the Olympian right there. You know, and I think they're both excellent figs, honestly. But last year, this white Marseille put out about, well, I chopped the hell out of last year. I mean, it was severely pruned, so I cut off almost all the Breba producing wood. But nonetheless, I still got like half a dozen Breba off of this thing, this white Marseille. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Like I had no idea how good. I mean, I've had Breba before and they typically, I think, suck, but this one was outstanding. So this year, other than doing some thinning, pruning cuts, like, you know, I think I'm going to remove that entire inner branch right there, and then this thing will just be a huge bowl. It's multi-trunked, and maybe remove a few branches growing on the inside. But otherwise, I may think about just not even like pruning in that, like cutting it back like this, trimming it, I guess maybe you call it, to maximize my Breva production on this thing. And you know what? The main crop figs are really good on this too, but I was just floored at how good the Breva were. So that's kind of maybe one fig worth growing for Breva. It's so amazing. I don't know if you like oatmeal and brown sugar, but to me, that's kind of what it was. Like, really good. Just the flavor was so unexpected, but so really good. This Calydon bordesatenca is probably one of my favorite trees, and I've got a lot of really good ones, but this thing is so impressive. It's putting out a bunch of new green growth on it right now, but it's done producing. It is prolific and vigorous. It's amazing. It's Mr. Smith right there. It's Trident fork. Ronde de Bordeaux. I've got two Socorro Blacks left hanging on this thing. I don't know if they're going to ripen. I have found that when your trees like really start dropping their leaves, the ripening rate of the figs goes down extraordinarily fast. Like I've got an Adriatic JH back there that was fully leaved until, God, it rained. It rained for a few days, solid, just straight, and it didn't matter. I mean, I sprayed, but it still got hit so hard with fungus that like the whole tree defoliated. And this was, you know, fall time too, so I think it kind of matters a little bit there. But it dropped all its leaves, and it left like 50 figs hanging on that tree with plenty of warmth left in the year. And those figs never really did ripen. They just, I think they've just started falling off, and I'd pick them up off the ground and feel them, and they're just not ripe. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. But one thing I am going to do is do a better job of like controlling the fungus. It's so dang wet here. Probably shouldn't even try to grow figs, but it's been fun, and it has been very productive. And I have yet to find a situation where people said, oh, you shouldn't grow it. And I tried and I was disappointed. I think part of it is, though, at least here in this part of Florida. And Florida, you know, it's a pretty long state. You can't compare this part of Florida with like South Florida. The soil's totally different, but here it's mostly sandy loam. And so like I could take a 5-gallon bucket of water and just dump it right there and it would just disappear immediately. It just soaks into the ground and is gone. No runoff, anything. It's immediate into the ground. I think that may have a lot to do with splitting, in that it does have nice permeability in the soil. But I also have noticed something that I did want to point out, that this entire summer I had no splitting problems, and that goes across all the figs that I've had. Like, you know, I had a few first year figs that even when they were still like really small, they split, and I don't even think that had to do with like moisture. I think some tiny little green figs, for whatever reason, on first year trees just do weird things. Aside from that kind of weird stuff, I had absolutely no splitting problem, and here I am in wet northeast Florida outside of St. Augustine. It's so wet here. Every morning everything's sopping wet, and in spite of that, I don't have a splitting problem until very recently, and I'd say probably just in the last 2 weeks. I have generated a splitting problem, and I think that coincides with the cooler evenings that we've been having. It's just my theory. I don't know why else all of a sudden I'm getting splitting figs. But so our evenings have been getting down into the 50s, whereas until just a couple of weeks ago, they have not been getting down that cold. And as soon as the evenings started getting colder, boom, I started getting split figs. So I think there may have something to do with maybe a fig getting like down to 50 degrees, you know, at night, and then warming back up. Maybe that in and of itself, maybe it's a temperature thing, a temperature and a fig thing, not necessarily a water. I'm sure there's always water has to do with something to do with it, but anyhow, that is something I have noticed, that I had no splitting problem until a couple weeks ago. The only thing different is the cooler temperatures, so that might have something to do with it. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know, if you're growing figs up in a northern climate where it gets colder at night. I used to live way up north in the Rocky Mountains, and I mean, it'd get 90 a day, but it still gets down to like 45 degrees at night. It's insane. Like, forget trying to grow tomatoes in an environment like that. It'll never happen. But I would think a fluctuation like that with your figs could cause things splitting. You know, if you get those really cold nights and then it gets really hot at daytime. But I don't know. Let me know if you think there might be some validity to that, because I know we've got people growing figs all over the country that have all kinds of experiences. So be curious to hear what you have to say. Hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow, and thank you for watching. If you like these videos, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. I appreciate it. Bye.